someone who has been following Hou Minghao and Lu Yuxiao's career for a long time, I never expected to witness such an adorable and full of energy moment between the two. That day, on the set of their latest drama, the atmosphere was light but loaded with a sweet tension that could only be felt by those who were secretly watching. Since the morning, the air in the location has been filled with enthusiasm. The crew passed by setting up the equipment, while the main cast members began to enter the dressing room. In the middle of that crowd, my gaze fell on Lu Yuxiao's figure, who looked cheerful more than usual. There was something on his face that was different, a kind of sparkle of enthusiasm that could not be hidden. He looked so excited, even since his first step on the filming area. Her smile never lets go, her steps are light, and her eyes radiate contagious happiness. When Hou Minghao arrived, the atmosphere seemed to change instantly. It comes with its signature casual style, relaxed yet charismatic, bringing a calm aura that contrasts with Lu Yuxiao's bright energy. But it is precisely the contrast that makes the two look balanced. Since Hou Minghao's presence, Lu Yuxiao's movements had become slightly different. He couldn't seem to contain his excitement. Whenever the camera hasn't started rotating, it's like a magnet that's slowly drawn towards its co-star. There was a small moment while the crew was preparing the scene, where Lu Yuxiao involuntarily noticed Minghao, who was talking to the director. His gaze was full of curiosity, his smile cracking so softly, as if the man's existence was the center of the world around him. The fans who were in the restricted area like me started exchanging glances. We could all feel a different aura between the two of them. Nothing superfluous, nothing far-fetched, but the little gestures felt real. Lu Yuxiao looked so open, expressive, and vibrant, while Minghao remained calm in his trademark manner that tended to be calm but occasionally displayed a slight smile that was no less charming. Every time they shot a scene together, the energy between them really came to life. Even when the cameras stopped recording, Lu Yuxiao still seemed carried away. He is often seen smiling to himself after the scene is over, sometimes shaking hands or sighing with a happy expression like someone who has just passed a pleasant moment. The crew who knew him even teased with amused looks, but he only replied with embarrassed laughter that could not hide the joy. I realized, maybe this is what is called natural chemistry, not only because they were both good at acting, but because there was a closeness that grew so tender and unplanned. Lu Yuxiao seemed so comfortable around Minghao, and that comfort rubbed off on anyone who saw him. There was one time where their scenes were quite emotionally heavy. Everyone on the set held their breath as the camera spun, but as soon as the director shouted "cut," the mood changed completely. Lu Yuxiao suddenly cheered up again, made a small jump to the side, and looked so enthusiastic while discussing the results of the take just now with the crew. His face lit up, and in the middle of the crowd, his gaze was once again fixed on Minghao, who was sitting on a chair near the monitor. Unknowingly, he approached, and from my point of view as a fan, the moment looked like a scene from their own drama. There was a genuine aura in the way Lu Yuxiao showed enthusiasm, like someone who truly appreciated the presence of his co-star, not simply because of his professionalism. He looked like Hou Minghao's #1 fan in that location, and it was both cute and touching. During the lunch break, the crew took advantage of the time to eat and rest. However, Lu Yuxiao still emitted unquenchable energy. He was seen driving around, occasionally helping the small crew with simple things like carrying water bottles or tidying up small properties. But somehow, those little steps always ended up not far from where Hou Minghao was. For us fans watching from afar, the sight felt like an unexpected bonus. Seeing two people with different personalities, one so calm, the other so full of spirit, mingling in one work location makes the atmosphere feel warm. Every time they interact, even without saying much, his little gestures are enough to tell everything. Lu Yuxiao's enthusiastic look every time Minghao laughed, his unsteady hand gestures when he felt happy, or the way he leaned forward a little whenever his co-star was nearby, all of them showed a genuine sense of excitement. It was not unusual for the crew to get used to Lu Yuxiao's spirit every time they filmed with Minghao. Even some of them seemed to laugh a little whenever Yuxiao seemed too excited, like when she couldn't wait to see the footage of their scenes. He often approached the monitor at a fast pace, his eyes twinkling like a child who had just received a gift. From behind the guardrail of our place, the fans could only smile at the funny behavior. It was like watching someone truly fall in love with their job, or perhaps with the person they worked with. Time passed. The sun began to lean to the west, marking the end of the day's filming. But Yuxiao Tak's energy also subsided. He still looked carefree, even when most of the crew began to wear out. Among all the hustle and bustle, his presence felt like a small light that kept the atmosphere alive. And every time Hou Minghao appeared around him, the spirit seemed to double. I watched from afar, and in my heart I smiled. There is beauty in seeing someone so sincerely enjoy being together, especially in the often stressful world of entertainment. Yuxiao didn't try to hide her excitement. He lets it show, makes it the most honest part of him. The fans around me share the same feeling. We know, no words are needed to understand that there is a special dynamic between them. They do not need to show blatantly, it is enough just to gaze, gestures and energy in the air. Everything is already felt. That moment may have been simple for some, but for those of us who watched, it was like living proof that relationships behind the scenes can be warmer than what's shown on screen. Not about romantic love, but rather about the connection of two human beings who value each other and enjoy the process together. When the sun really sets, the location starts to quiet down. Yuxiao was still seen smiling, conversing with the crew before finally leaving the set. But before leaving, he had a glance at Minghao, who was still in the back area. It was a quick glance, but enough to make a few fans near me hold their breath. In that moment, I realized something. Sometimes, someone who is too excited not because he wants to be noticed, but because he really appreciates every second he lives with people who make him feel comfortable. That was what I saw in Lu Yuxiao that day. Sincerity, passion, and admiration that couldn't be hidden. And when I came home that night, the image of her cheerful face still flashed through my mind. It is like a small light that never goes out, bringing joy to everyone around it. While Hou Minghao, with his characteristic calmness, became the center of the orbit around which Yuxiao's spirit revolved beautifully. An unplanned harmony, yet so natural. That day, I felt fortunate to have witnessed for myself how too excited can be the most honest form of sincere admiration.